Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about the brain tumors. Okay, first, in the brain tumors, these mainly occur sporadically. So first we will see the risk factors. Risk factors include: one, these occur due to the radiation exposure, and second, they are associated with genetic abnormalities. In the genetic abnormalities, they are associated with retinoblastoma, Li-Fraumeni syndrome, then neurofibromatosis 1 and 2, MEN1 syndrome and Turcot syndrome, von Hippel-Lindau syndrome, Gorlin syndrome, and tuberous sclerosis. All these will increase the risk factors of brain tumors. Then, if we see the WHO classification of the brain tumors, this is important. According to WHO classification of brain tumors, so this is the WHO classification of CNS tumors. We are not going to deal with everything, so I would like to only tell you the important things. Okay, first we have the most important is the group gliomas. Okay, in the gliomas this glioma includes astrocytoma, oligodendroglioma. Okay, then all the others, glioblastoma, diffuse midline glioma, are also important, but we won't go into the details of it. Okay, then we have this ependymal tumors also, which are important. Okay, then we also have choroid plexus tumors, which are important. Then you will have to learn about the tumors of the pineal region. You don't need to know details, only pineal tumors is important. Then we have neuronal tumors. In the neuronal tumors we have ganglioglioma, which is important, gangliocytoma is important, and neuroblastoma. It's not written here. Yeah, neuroblastoma will be an embryonal tumor. Okay, it's not there. Then this medulloblastoma is important in the embryonal tumors. Embryonal tumors, only medulloblastoma is sufficient. Then we have meningiomas. In the meningeal tumors, meningiomas we should learn, and in the tumors of the peripheral nerve, we will have to, nerve sheath tumors, we will have to learn about the schwannomas, and then in the tumors of cellular region, you will have to learn about the craniopharyngioma and pituitary tumors. Okay, so these are the tumors which are very important and which should be remembered. The rest all are not necessary to remember. Okay, next, so first we will see the one liners. Okay, the one liners which can be asked. Then okay, the most common brain tumor, if you see, the most common brain tumor is metastasis. Most common primary for metastasis of the brain, that is carcinoma of lung, followed by carcinoma of breast. Then most common primary for leptomeningeal metastasis is, then that is carcinoma breast. Then if you were asked what is the most common primary brain tumor, then that is meningioma, followed by the glioma. Then what is the most common malignant brain tumor in children? In malignant brain tumor in children, that is medulloblastoma. Then most common radiosensitive brain tumor in children, this is also medulloblastoma. Most common malignant brain tumor in children and most common radiosensitive brain tumor is medulloblastoma. Then if you were asked what is the most common supracellular mass in adults, the supracellular mass in adults is pituitary adenoma. Similarly, what is the most common supracellular mass in children, then that is craniopharyngioma is the most common supracellular mass in children. Then if you were asked about the brain tumor which is associated, what is the brain tumor which is associated with calcification, then that is craniopharyngioma is associated with calcification, followed by oligodendroglioma, followed by meningioma is associated with calcification. Then if you see what is the most common spinal tumor, most common spinal tumor is metastasis. Then what is the most common primary spinal tumor, most common primary spinal tumor is nerve sheath tumor is the most common primary spinal tumor. Then most common intramedullary tumor, most common intramedullary tumor is astrocytoma is the most common intramedullary tumor. Then what is the most common site of primary spinal tumor, most common site of primary spinal tumor is intradural, extramedullary is the most common site of spinal primary spinal tumors. So all these are the one liners which should be remembered. Then if we see the clinical features of brain tumors, the cardinal symptoms of brain tumors is seizures. So these seizures occur due to increased intracranial tension followed by headache. So this increased intracranial tension is increased intracranial tension manifests as headache, and this headache is actually worse in the morning hours and in staining, and this is associated with nausea and vomiting. Here, because there is tumor is present in the parenchyma of the brain, it is associated with focal neurological deficit, and you will see progressive this focal neurological deficit will progress over a time. If it is associated, if there is pituitary adenoma, then obviously you will see presence of endocrine abnormalities will be seen if there is pituitary adenoma. Then if you were asked what is the investigation of choice for diagnosis of brain tumors, it is always MRI. Then if we see the treatment, in the treatment first we should do dexamethasone. This dexamethasone will reduce the peritumoral edema. Dexamethasone will reduce the peritumoral edema. Then if you see in anti-epileptics, the tumors, so anti-epileptics should be given if there is seizures. For seizures, and mannitol should be administered to decrease the intracranial pressure. Then you will have to do surgery. Mainly surgery is the treatment of choice mainly. So if you see the primary goal for surgery, primary goal is you will have to do histological diagnosis. The primary goal of surgery is to do histological diagnosis and also decrease the mass effect, because if there is bigger mass, then this will cause more increase in intracranial tension, which causes even more adverse effect in the patient. So once you decrease the mass effect, then obviously you will preserve the neurological function is preserved. Then you will have to do radiotherapy if there is presence of positive margins, or if the tumor is infiltrating the surrounding brain, then you should do radiotherapy after surgery. Then if the tumors have CSF spread, in these tumors which have CSF spread, we will have to do craniospinal irradiation, because the tumor cells must have been spread to any part. They might be present any part in the brain and in the spinal cord where the CSF flows. So we will have to do craniospinal irradiation here. Now what is important here is the CNS tumors which have CNS spread. What are the tumors with CNS spread? This group is very important. These include, one, we have CNS lymphoma, then we have pineoblastoma, then we have medulloblastoma, then CSF spread is also seen in germ cell tumor, then choroid plexus carcinoma, and in anaplastic ependymoma, and also in anaplastic ependymoma, and also in the if you see in the primitive neuroendocrine tumor, you will see the CSF spread. So CSF spread is seen in the following tumors, which is CNS lymphoma, pinealoblastoma, then medulloblastoma, germ cell tumors, choroid plexus carcinoma, anaplastic ependymoma, and primary neuroectodermal tumors. In all these conditions, we will see for CSF spread. Then this is CSF spread, cerebrospinal fluid spread. Okay, now if you see the symptoms in brain tumor, there can be psychiatric symptoms are also very important in brain tumor. One, especially if it involves the supratentorial tumor, that is frontal tumors, or in temporal lobe tumors. If you see in these tumors, there will be definitely mental changes are seen in these patients. Then if there is frontal lobe involvement, then there will be change in behavior and judgment is seen. Here personality changes are more common, especially which include development of antisocial behavior, or they are socially inhibited, or if you see there is impairment of judgment, insight and foresight is seen. Then if you see the next, we also have one more syndrome which is associated with brain tumors, which is called as Witzel-Sachs syndrome. This Witzel-Sachs syndrome is also called as pathological joking. This Witzel-Sachs syndrome is associated with mainly frontal lobe tumor. Okay, this is Witzel-Sachs syndrome, which means pathological joking, which is associated with frontal lobe tumor. Then we also have psychiatric symptoms, and depression may also be seen due to the frontal lobe tumors. Then sometimes psychosis is also associated with temporal lobe tumors. And you will also see one more thing, which is delirium. Delirium is also associated with large growing metastatic tumors. And we have one more important thing, which is left sided. If there is left sided frontal lobe tumor, this will result in akinesia or depression. Left sided frontal lobe tumor causes akinesia and depression, whereas right sided frontal lobe tumor causes euphoria. So left sided frontal lobe tumor causes akinesia and depression, whereas right sided frontal lobe tumor causes euphoria. So these are the general characteristics and clinical features of brain tumors. In the next class, we will learn about each of the tumors in detail. Thank you for watching.